What do you think is so effective about asking questions as opposed to just making an open statement?
Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of this, just me being in entertainment PR. We're seeing a lot of celebrities that are just like throwing statements up, just without really taking a step back and saying, what, and sometimes the questions are not even asked to others. Sometimes the questions are asked to yourself, and I think I see some people, celebrities are just putting things up. And they're not saying, well, or brands, corporate brands, companies, and not saying, what is my base audience? Like my I could be sharing, something hurtful and not even know it because I haven't taken the time to say, what is my base audience? For example, I seen a post the other day where a company whose 93% of their customer thing that they did since all of this happened was, we support the police. And that's not a bad statement, right? Saying we support police is not a bad statement because there are a lot of great police. However, when you think of the fact that your audience is 93% African American and the pain that they're feeling at the hands of the police, the first thing you say probably shouldn't be in favor of the people that they're protesting against, right? And so sometimes it's just understanding that you need to ask questions to yourself and then ask questions to your audience or the people that you're talking to. How can I help you? What does support look like for you? And those questions alone would probably answer some of your, or probably make you not put out certain information that you were going to before. If I stopped and asked myself, what is my audience base? And if I was that company, let's put myself in the shoes of that company. If I sat back and I said, what is my audience base? And I figured out, oh, it's actually 93% African American. And then I asked them, what can I do to support you at this time? And they say, if we're walking down your street and protesting, giving us waters, and maybe if police stop by, sending them a message that says, hey, Black Lives Matter, then they'll say, well, maybe I shouldn't put that post up about police, right? So it literally asks yourself questions and then ask your audience questions because it'll help you make strategic moves.
Absolutely. And that self-reflection is important, not even just on a business level. I know as on a personal level, I take time each day, at least 30 minutes, to just actively reflect on what I'm doing, whether or not I want to continue doing it. So there are a variety of applications I could see for that. One interesting note that you mentioned there is almost the tone deafness that can occur during times like these. And to me, it elicits almost a bigger question of, is there tone deafness on both sides, especially now, but in the past as well? I mean, there have been criticism of corporate companies for changing their logo on Instagram, Facebook, wherever, to support the LGBTQ movement during Pride Month, which I believe is either this month or last month. Do you think that some of it is just virtue signaling? And is this an example, I guess, of where strategic communication can be used negatively?
Yeah, I think, man, being tone deaf is a big part of it. Because a lot of times if you aren't in the midst of experiencing something, or the people around you aren't in the midst of experiencing something, you can forget that it's being experienced. And so it will literally put you in a position to say, I didn't even know this was going on, or I didn't even know that this was an issue or a concern. And so strategic communication to you almost flies out the window because you didn't even know there was something to be strategically, considering, I guess. And so I think, a lot of times, and I keep bringing up the political era we're in the Black Lives Matter movement, but some whites may think, I didn't even know racism was as big as it is because they don't have to experience it daily. And yes, they would. If I'm that person and I don't have to experience it daily, I'm probably, or the people around me, I'm probably doing everything I would normally do. If I would normally say, congrats to the police officer, I would normally say it, right? And so because you're not experiencing it, you don't know that it's happening. And I think that what has happened now is almost just giving a sense of awareness to the fact that there needs to be more communication on both ends, saying, hey, this is what I'm in. This is about just honestly sharing stories. I think sometimes we tend to not share stories because we're either embarrassed by them or scared of them, or whatever the case may be. But the more we share, the more awareness there is to both sides of any puzzle, where we now are not tone deaf to what's going on, and we can communicate more strategically when things arise.
Agreed. I think that this dialogue is something that's been ongoing, but almost more elicited now, and in a very important way. And I think we're coming to a very unique moment from what I'm seeing where these conversations are being had. I know as a family with my friends, this is what we talk about. And I'm a fairly political person as is. It's part of the reason why I love DC, is because we are engaging in those conversations almost all the time, because that's the people who are kind of there. It can feel like a lot. I know people who are listening to this might feel this. I know I've experienced this as well. But the most important thing that I think people can take away from what you just mentioned there is simply these dialogues can happen, but doing them in the right way.